Hey guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's CC Garland here again with you. So, what I want to discuss today with you is a question that was raised in the Facebook group we have, guys. If you're not on it and you're not in it and you're watching this on YouTube, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Got to jump in it. I drop a lot of gems. I'm more interactive in here versus on YouTube, and it's a lot quicker to get in touch with me on here. So, if you are watching this on YouTube, we had a very active individual, Chris Green, shout out to him, ask a very specific question I wanted to get to because I think there's a lot of, you could take a lot of things based off the question that he asked. And that question is this. He wants to know how much raw data is needed to be skipped a month to get to 100K a month, and also the marketing costs associated with making 100K. So thanks for the question, Chris. And I will go to my spreadsheet here and jump right into it. So what we have here, guys, are all the lists for all of my markets I'm in. So I'm in 3 markets, Charlotte, Houston, and Atlanta. And I have pretty large list in all of these markets. So here's the total of numbers that we have. These aren't the total number of individuals on the list. So let's just say I have a list in Charlotte of 80,000 people. Well, typically what you could do is take how many people are on your list and just multiply that by 2. And that would typically get you how many phone numbers you would have on that list, which this is 160,000. So I have about 80 to maybe 90,000 people on this list. And what I have here is how many times I've hit it. Now, this is very important to keep track of because the more often you hit your list, and I do this based off of months. So we're going in our 4th month. Really, this is probably like the 5th or 6th month hitting this list, either with cold calling or text messaging. And we actually pulled a new one earlier this month in November. So, but this just gives you an idea compared to all of our other lists, like how many we're targeting. So I didn't want to include the new Charlotte list because it's only like 50,000 sellers. But this is what we've been doing for the past several months and why we've been able to get $100,000 months each month. So in Houston, we have a list of 351,000 people, our phone numbers on it. And this list is huge. Houston's a large area. And we've actually pulled phone numbers over the last probably year or so. And we've just added phone numbers to the list. Houston is such a large market. We don't really need to rotate our list out. We just continue adding to it. And in Atlanta, we have a list of 211,731 sellers. Our phone numbers on this list, probably like 100,000 sellers are on this list. And we've hit it twice. And we hit the Houston list 3 times. So I'll tell you this, our Charlotte list is pretty beat up. And let me go ahead and just put this as a 7 because we were cold calling it for quite a while. And then we started text messaging it. But we really beat this list up and we pulled a new one. I mean, we weren't getting any connects with cold calling. With text messaging, our response rates went down. And that's not to say that we're never going to target this list again. We just need to give it a break. So that's the good thing about having these phone numbers. We can not target this list for a few months and then target it again, let's just say in mid 2020. And it actually bear the same results as if we targeted the first time. So what I want to emphasize, guys, is list rotation here. So you want to have a large list that you're targeting and a large enough list that you're targeting that you can actually rotate your list out and have enough that you're targeting throughout the month. I know a lot of people are focused on really targeted, high equity, absentee, out-of-state owner occupants, and you may have like 2,000 phone numbers on the list. Guys, that's not going to cut it. To get to where you want to be consistently, you have to consistently be generating leads. You need a large list. Now, I will say, when you start off, you can have a very small list you're targeting, right? But as you close deals, you're going to want to broaden it up. We actually have another member in the group. His name is Carlos Sanchez. He actually documented his process of not closing any deals to getting his first deal closed. And I actually pulled a very targeted list for him initially. And so he came back after he closed his first deal up and he's like, hey, I need a bigger list. What can we do? So at this point, we're going to broaden the horizon and we're going to loosen up those filters a little bit and get him a larger list of 20,000 sellers, which will get him 40,000 phone numbers. And guess what? He's going to close up 5 or 6 deals. He's going to make $40,000 or $50,000. He's going to throw $10K back in marketing, and he's going to get a bigger list of 100,000 people. And guys, that's how you scale. That's how you scale. Whenever you start, I know it's very intimidating thinking that you have to get to this volume. You don't get to this volume overnight. It's a snowball effect. You start off really small, with the budget that you have. And as you accumulate lists over time, you'll end up having 300, 400, 500,000, we have close to 1 million phone numbers in all of our markets right now. And that's how you grow. And we can target this indefinitely, because as we continue skip tracing lists and rotating our lists in and out, there's going to be no way we can hit 1 million, 2 million records in a month. So we don't have to worry about list fatigue at that point. But when you first start, you have to be mindful of your list and how many times you're hitting it. So one other thing that Chris asked in the group, and he made a good point I want to touch on here, is how much does it cost and marketing cost to get to this point? Now, guys, we're spending about 20 to 25K a month in marketing. And we're doing a combination of cold calling and text messaging. And a lot of you guys ask me, well, you're so adamant about text messaging. Why are you talking about cold calling now? Guys, I'm talking about cold calling now because it's just another thing that I'm doing, but I don't want to talk about that a lot, because whenever you're first starting, I take it from me, guys, there's no way that you can manage a cold call team if you don't have an acquisitions manager in place and you don't have systems in place. It takes systems to build a cold call team and to be able to generate leads from cold calling. Trust me, with text messaging, it is really manageable. You can learn the process of closing up deals. You can make mistakes. It's all good. With cold calling, you'll just be overwhelmed. Trust me. But with that being said, here's what our marketing costs look like. So to skip trace all this data, it probably costs us maybe like 30 to 40 grand over the course of a year. So let's just take this amount of records, and I'm just going to divide this by 2. So 742, 210. And let's divide this by 2. So we have about 371,000. So let's just go with 371. 71,000. So this is how many sellers we have. Estimated, guys. This isn't exact. So what we get our skip traces for is at 15 cents per search. There's a lot of sources out there, guys, to skip trace records. I would say, based on my experience with doing this for a while, is 15 cents a search is about the lowest you can get for the highest quality of data. And if you don't know where to find it, just shoot me a DM. Honestly, if you're looking at skip tracing 30, 40,000 records, I'll just skip trace this for you at cost. Like, seriously, if you're thinking about that. But 15 cents is like the lowest you could get it, and actually, get actual good phone numbers. Trust me, there's other data sources out there. Data Zap, a data finder. Yeah, you can skip trace records for like 1 or 2 or 3 cents a search, guys, but that's garbage. You're only going to get like a 50% hit rate, and they're going to be all landlines. So take it from me, 15 cents is like the baseline there. It's like the bottom. So it costs us 15 cents. So we're going to do this. Do times 0.15. And yep, it's okay. So it's about 55,000, 56,000 is what it costs us in data over a year, about a year and a half with skip tracing this stuff. And we didn't come out of pocket at once for all of this. And we don't pull a list. This is really important, guys. We don't pull a list every month. We pull a list every quarter. So with 100,000 phone numbers, that's enough to target for like 3 or 4 months, and you're good to go. You have to be careful with text messaging, because after about the 3rd month, if you're hitting it really hard, you can see your response rates go down. But usually if you take like a week or 2 off, maybe even a month with text messaging, and you target it again, you should be good to go. Some of the best practices for text messaging, I discussed this in other videos, is always rotating your phone numbers out that you're targeting your sellers with, and changing the name you're using. And as always, use the seller's property address to make it look very unique and to increase your deliverability rates. But we want to pull lists every quarter. So what we're going to do in January is, and we have this on rotation, we just pulled a new list for Charlotte earlier this month. So Charlotte's going to be good for until probably like February or March. Houston, we pulled one in September of 2019, so a couple months ago. That's going to be good probably until February because it's just such a large list. Atlanta, we just pulled one, so that's going to be good until probably February or March. And really, there's no specific date I can give you. I can't say, okay, at the first of every quarter, we're going to pull a new list. That's not how it works. We just monitor the response rates. If we're looking at our response rates and we're seeing that we're getting probably like a 1% response rate with text messaging, and we're getting like no leads with cold calling. For instance, with Charlotte, we were going on month 7 and we were getting like no leads from cold calling or text messaging. And we were doing everything we could on our end. We were changing the phone numbers that we were targeting these sellers with. We changed our names up. We refreshed our list. We rotated the list out. We paused them and nothing was happening. We said, hey guys, we beat this thing dry. We probably made $400,000 off of this Charlotte list. I think it's time. I think we got enough out of it. I think it's time to go ahead and pull another one, which is what we did. So over the course of a quarter, we will pull new lists for each market, right? So it's not the first day of every quarter. It's just within 4 months of pulling that initial list, we'll pull another one, if that makes sense. So those are the costs associated. And this is spread out through the year, this $55K. So we may spend, $10K in January on new lists. We won't have to spend that $10K every single month of the quarter, right? We might pay another $5K just to get a few more phone numbers for Atlanta. Say we want to pull like 30,000 records, and not like a full 100 or 200,000 record list. So we sort of play it by ear when it comes to that. But monitoring our KPIs and monitoring how many leads are coming in every day and how many responses we're getting actually allows us to know if we're on track or not with that. So let's talk about our cold calling and text messaging costs. So we're probably spending between cold calling and text messaging. Cold calling is really expensive. We're spending probably like $4,000 a week on cold calling. So 4,000 per week for cold calling. And that puts us at 4 times 4 at like 16 grand. So equals 16K per month. And we're getting probably most of our leads from that. Now, a lot of these are cold leads. And, it takes us like 100 to 100, probably like 20 leads to get a deal from that. And whereas with text messaging, we're spending probably around, I want to say 1,000 a week with text messaging. And this includes our VAs. So we have 3 VAs that monitor this process. We have 1 VA that just sorts through the cold leads, like the people that aren't interested and the people that are interested. And then we have another VA that actually goes through and gives offers to the people that might be interested. Then we have another VA that follows up with the people from yesterday or anybody that hasn't responded back in 24 hours. So we'll keep them in our workspace, and we'll keep them there for about 24 hours before we determine, hey, we need to just delete these people from the workspace or send these over to acquisitions. So not everything gets flooded to acquisitions. We have a very systemized process with actually filtering all of our leads and ensuring that our acquisitions manager, because he is so busy and he is so valuable to us, is only getting quality leads. So we do everything we can on the marketing side to ensure that we're doing that for him, because he's crushing it. He's like the most important part of our business. So in total, it's probably like 20K, 25K. Within this marketing budget, we also have what it costs for the cold calling tools. So we use ZenCall, and it's like $130 per seat. So, if you do 130 times, and we have 23 cold callers. So 130 times 23, we're looking at about $3,000. So $3,000 per month for Zencal. And guys, just remember, I'm saying all this stuff, we scaled up to this point. It's not like we just did this overnight. So you may be asking yourself, well, CC, how do I get here? Just like I said earlier in this video, guys, you start small. You start with a targeted list. Once you start seeing results, then you up the marketing budget. It should be gradual. It's like a gradual line increasing. You don't just go from 0 to like the top of the mountain. You don't just like shoot up like a rocket ship. It's more like a steady incline. You know, you're walking gradually and you're getting there. And as you close up deals, you're going to be putting money back into your marketing. But I hope this gives you guys a good overview of how we got to 100K. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I'll be more than happy to create videos for you guys. But I hope this answers you guys' questions and makes things a little bit more clear. As always, drop me a line if you have more questions. Hope you're having a great day.